Every January, we start again. We set goals, we make promises, and we tell ourselves, this time it's going to be different. But if we're being honest, how many times have you done that? I mean, I've done it a lot, and I'm noticing that this year, I don't want to be the person by mid-January that I've already given up. I am discouraged and I'm frustrated. And I don't want that to happen this year. So I want you to know that if you do tend to do this year after year, and you've maybe already given up by this point in the month on any New Year's resolutions that you've set, it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you don't want to change. It's because the way that we're trying to change is not built to last. So it's not a motivation problem. It's a sustainability problem. What happens is we try to become this entirely new person overnight. We're overloaded with rules and routines and pressure and expectations. And then whenever it all collapses, which inevitably it will, we blame ourselves. But what if nothing was wrong with you? It wasn't your fault to begin with. What if you don't need another reset or another all or nothing plan or another new year, new me January restart? What if you just needed a way of living that fits your actual life? And that's what this is about. I wanted to go through what I'm doing, where I've been, check in with you guys, and just a little bit of magic and just sharing how it's not starting over, it's not forcing discipline, it's building a life that you don't need to feel like you keep having to escape from. So before I walk you through these 10 shifts that I'm going to go through, I figured I would give you a little life update and just share where I'm at personally right now, and just sharing what I plan on doing from this mid-January point headed into February and Valentine's Day and all of that, and how my hope is to completely overhaul everything without burning out and doing it the right way to create lasting change throughout the entire year. Oh my gosh, it's been a minute, and I'm not going to lie, this feels kind of weird because we came back with a voiceover video, and there was no way that I was going to do a whole video with a voiceover again. I needed to talk and chat and just share all of the things. So I feel like I have so much to say. And today I think is going to be a similar vibe to the last video, which, by the way, I was floored at the response that you guys poured in with the comments and emails and DMs. And I received text messages of just like from all sorts of people. And usually I feel like there's a very specific group of people that will like comment, and there's like one specific demographic, which I love. But this was like people from all walks of life and some dudes also, which like it means the world. So that just meant so much, because putting something out like that, that's not only different, but also very transparent, is not always easy. So whenever it's well received, it means the world. So I figured today what we could do is kind of do like a fresh reset for the year. And you can just come through it with me. And I have like my new skincare routine that I'm very excited about. And like I said in the last video, I'm just very, very focused right now on kind of overhauling my habits. So I feel like, and I think most people might relate to this, that towards the end of 2025, as many of us do, I just took my health for granted, kind of ran myself into the ground, for lack of a better word, and it caught up with me. And so what I'm realizing is sometimes these wake-up calls, whether small or humongous, they might stop you in your tracks, but it can be for good reason, and something great can come of it. So my days now revolve around my health, whereas before it was almost like this nuisance in my day that I had to make time for. It's now become the foundation. The rest of the day is built around it. And I was getting to a point where workouts were getting skipped constantly, or I was just trying to squeeze them in, and stress would rise, and it just was not a good way to go about my day. And so, yeah, it caught up with me, and I just decided to do a hard stop on all things that weren't me being present in my life, me spending time with family, anything that didn't pull at my heartstrings of like, I really want to do this. And I just needed to pause, take about 20 steps back so that eventually I could take twice the amount forward. And that was my hope. And I do feel like it helped tremendously. I still remember when I was younger, my mom had this little cutout on her desk. So she was very entrepreneurial. I got it from somewhere. And she has her own business and she would work from home. And I would always see her working hard. So all of you moms that message me and you're like, I have mom guilt. If my mom would have succumbed to mom guilt, I don't think that I would be built the way that I'm built. So while she worked extremely hard and could have had that guilt, I think that her being able to show what was possible in terms of a hardworking woman that was so determined, so disciplined, and just had the most grit that I've ever seen in my life. I think that that was instilled on me more than any mom guilt or anything that we kind of make ourselves feel bad about. So while I understand you, you might be more inspiring than you think, ladies. So on that note, on her desk, I would go visit her in her office every once in a while. And she had this cutout and she just had it, I guess, as a reminder to herself that 99.9% of all illnesses are caused by stress, which that just hit for me. And I always try and remember that. And we all have different types of stress and we all handle stress differently, whether it's lack of movement, something as simple as that, or not taking care of ourselves, or just getting so riled up or anxious about things. It's different for everybody, but I think learning to manage that and regulate your nervous system can be huge. So that's kind of what I wanted to go through today and give you my own steps as to how I'm not going to be that person. I always refuse to be that person. It's like, I'm not going to set New Year's resolutions and give up on them by the end of January. The statistic on that is insane. I think it's like 9% of people actually follow through on their New Year's resolutions into the end of the year, which I just don't want to be that. And I don't want you to be that. So I want to be able to help give some tangible tips and some examples. And I'm just going to take you through my day. Now, while I have already washed my hair, which needed to happen, I'm probably still going to do yoga, but I mean, that's not really like a sweaty workout, so it's all good. So let's go through a full day routine of just getting our ish together, setting some fresh habits, some healthy ones at that. Might go into the Disney worlds and do some fun stuff. And we have family in town right now, so we're going to take them to dinner. And I just want to take you along for a good time of like us living our lives here in Disney World, but also having a great time and trying to instill some healthy habits into our day, which I'm very excited about. But again, thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking with me. I do realize that I went MIA. It's not lost upon me, but hopefully it will have been for good reason. And just that fresh start and that little pause was much needed. So I'm going to fix up my face as best I can. I'm going to continue with my skincare routine. I'm going to do my nails. The other ones lasted so long. I'm going to do some Valentine's Day nails and just kind of get into mid-January into Valentine's Day vibes. And I really try and celebrate, find like little celebratory moments every single month, especially around these types of months where January and February can get really slow and really dull, especially coming out of the holidays. And I just try and find those special things and little moments throughout the month that I can celebrate to almost romanticize it, that you don't fall into seasonal sadness. So a little celebration for every season goes a long way for me. And it's just something I've learned over the years. And that's what we're going to do today. Might decorate a little bit, plan some goals, definitely do my nails so that I feel alive again, fix my face up. I've already washed my hair. It's going to be amazing. So come along with me for a full day of just making sure that we are not giving up on ourselves. So let's do it. Okay, so here's the part that I really want to talk about, and this is what hit home for me. These aren't resolutions. They're not more rules. They're 10 shifts to help you stop quitting on yourself. So if you tend to do that, and maybe you did that last year, let's overhaul it. Let's get our ish together. You don't need to do this all at once. You don't need to be perfect. Think of this as like a gentle checklist to kind of get it all together. 10 ways to build momentum instead of burning out. 10 little reminders that you're not broken. You just need a better system. So let's get into it. What I would love for you to do is any of these 10 checkpoints that hit home with you, just note them down or give me like a little, oh my gosh, that's me in the comments, because I want to have a full conversation about this with you. The first one is to start where you are. Stop trying to become this new person overnight. If you feel like in especially a fresh start mode, you go straight into, I'm going to be at the gym every single day at 5 a.m. or I'm going to completely overhaul all my food, workouts, routines, and do like 60-minute workouts. And you're expecting like instant discipline or confidence, is not going to work. The pendulum is swinging way too far. So you know those little marbles that are on a pendulum, and when you hit one, it swings the other way? That's literally what you're doing. It will eventually come back in the other direction. You're just swinging it way too far. So if you're swinging that marble out way far, it's going to come right back and not towards the middle. It's going to swing the other way. And that's where crash diets and all that aren't going to work. It's just too extreme. So choose one habit that works on even your hardest day. Shrink it until it feels super easy and build proof around it instead of that constant pressure. You don't need a new life. You just need a sustainable one. And you're not failing. You just need to stop skipping steps. For me, I feel like change works whenever it feels safe. If it's too extreme, my body will eventually rebound. So starting small and build trust with yourself. So start where you are and stop trying to become a new person overnight. Number 2, become someone that you trust. So focus on your identity and who you are and not the goals. Sometimes that can be overwhelming. So for me, confidence comes from my kept promises. Do you know how powerful it is whenever you say to at least yourself, it doesn't even have to be to anybody else, just yourself, I'm going to do this, and you follow through on the stuff you say that you're going to do? It's the most powerful thing that you can do for your confidence. And that identity of being someone that keeps those promises will outlive any motivation that you might drop. So focusing on who you are as a human being instead of the goals, meaning you don't have to label it as, I want to lose weight. Just become someone who moves daily. It's so much less overwhelming doing that. And it's so much more sustainable. Instead of saying, I'm not a productive person, become someone who finishes what they start. And instead of saying, I need to be more calm or I'm way too stressed out, become someone who protects their peace. And if you need a little bit of a nudge in this department, literally go on Pinterest and start grabbing photos of people who would naturally be like the goal that you're going after. So whether that's productive, calm, or someone that is in the best shape of their life, and you want to become that version of yourself, have photos on your vision board that literally look like that person that you are trying to become, not just physically, but emotionally and their entire vibe. I do this and it's a secret board, but I call it Angie 2026. And it just represents the aura of the person that I'm trying to become. So those actions will reinforce that identity that you're going after instead of just the overwhelming goal. And every time that you follow through on that identity getting stronger and stronger, trust will grow within yourself, and therefore the confidence will grow. So you'll just keep taking on more and you'll become a different person by the end of the year. Number 3, build for real life. So building for real life and normal days, not just the perfect days, is how you're going to change everything. If it only works when life is super easy and your calendar isn't full, it's not built to last. Real life consistency matters more than anything else. So 2-hour morning routines that are just too picture perfect that you picked off of Pinterest or TikTok, it's just going to be overwhelming and too crazy. Meal plans that collapse under stress, habits that disappear when you're traveling. It is so much easier to create simple daily non-negotiables. So one thing that I do is I pair a couple habits together. Example, every single morning, I will do my planning for the day. So I'll journal, I'll make sure I map out my day. I'll have my 3 needle movers that day they're like my non-negotiables. And I usually will pair that with tea. So one simple habit that I gave up headed into this new year was no more caffeine. So definitely no coffee. Sometimes I'll have caffeinated tea, but low caffeine levels. It's just a little healthy thing that I picked up, and I will double those down. So I'll have the tea while I journal and do my planning. Or another little habit that I picked up is I love my walking pad. So I live in Canada most of the time. When I'm here in Florida, I definitely walk outside, but I will listen to a good audiobook. So I tried to implement listening to more productive, growth-based books this year instead of just a bunch of fiction books, which are still fun. But I try and get in a good audiobook in the morning while I'm walking. So again, just doubling down on those two habits, so pairing them together. Another one that I do is I do my skincare with maybe a little bit of breath work or some meditation. So I'll do like a face mask or something while I'm doing a 10-minute meditation. So what if it's maybe just that your life doesn't need this huge overhaul or fixing? It's just your systems that you need to work on, and they can be the simplest little shift. And just remember, you're not the issue. If the habits that you're trying to build collapse on a hard day, it was never built for your life. So don't worry about it, release it, and let's just build some new habits. Number 4, make room. So remove before you add, just like you would with your closet. You know, we always hear that. If you're going to add some clothing to your closet, make sure you clear some stuff out. You have to do the same thing with your goals. You can't build further if you're already overloaded. So create space for momentum. This includes draining relationships. Let's hear it in the comments. Are there some relationships that you could maybe let go of? Overstimulating apps on your phone, or even sometimes people that you're following that you're comparing yourself to in a really unhealthy way. Obligations that you resent, let these things go headed into this fresh start. So what I would love for you to do for this is just identify one thing that drains you in your life, reduce it or remove it, and then create space in your life before adding anything new. You're allowed to let go. Letting go does not mean that you're quitting. It's just choosing yourself. You're the priority. Number 5, stay consistent. Consistency over intensity always. The way that you're going to be successful in literally anything, whether it's a new skill, a business that you're going after, a relationship, little tiny baby shark bites every single day over a long period of time. All of these people that you might see online that are living your dream life, that's all that they did. They weren't smarter, they weren't better, they weren't better looking or fitter or more professional or more educated. It was none of that. They literally just did not give up. They did the small, consistent actions over a longer period of time than other people. Burning out is not discipline. It's that repetition every single day. And even when it gets boring, that's what's going to create the change. Examples of this, and I have done these 10 intense gym days and then quitting because you either injure yourself or you're over it. Rules for yourself that are so strict that you almost want to rebel. And trying to be picture perfect with your nutrition or another goal that you might have, and then you're just pushing it too hard and you end up giving up. So choose things that you can repeat every single day. Build it slowly and let boring consistency be the work. That's the hard part. And just let me tell you something with a big hug. You don't need to suffer to grow. So if you feel like you're in a state of suffering from the hustle, that's not how you're going to grow. This is how you're going to burn out. Consistency will be the thing that changes your life. Small consistency every single day. Number 6. Adjust, don't quit. I am such a big believer in this. Stop restarting, start adjusting. These whole 75-day challenges where you're a complete failure if you mess up on one little thing one day and you have to start at day 0 is the least realistic thing of my entire life. Missing one day does not erase your momentum. And the way that you're going to see progress is you being responsive to those shifts. So if you have a day that was less than perfect, that's okay. Keep going. So maybe some overhauls that need to happen for you are this habit of quitting after one tiny slip, or waiting for the next reset, like the next Monday morning, the next first of the month, or throwing out the plan altogether. This is not who you need to be. You can lower the bar on the harder days. You can adjust things instead of completely abandoning them and staying in motion. That's so much more powerful. You're allowed to keep going even if it's a little bit imperfect, and you do not need to start over. Number 7, this one hits home for me. Calm your body. So let your habits support your nervous system. If you have a dysregulated nervous system, you're not going to be able to make sound decisions or keep going with any of these goals. Calm will create clarity for you. If you're forcing productivity while you are emotionally or physically exhausted, it's not going to work. Using caffeine or guilt to push through is also not going to work. And ignoring your rest and hydration will be the fastest way to shut your system down. So make sure that you're prioritizing sleep, drink water, before more coffee, and adding movement every single day as the foundation of your day. You don't need to push harder. You need to feel safer, and that one's important. When your body doesn't feel safe, again, it will eventually shut down. A calm body can do way more than a pressured one. So take yourself out of that pressure cooker, allow yourself to feel safe, prioritize what you need to prioritize in terms of your health, and the rest will follow. Number 8, this kind of goes hand in hand, but it's a step up from the last point. Slow the rush. If you can detach from that constant state of pressure as though the freaking house is on fire, it's going to change your life and your ability to stick with the goals that you set in the beginning of the year. Too much pressure creates resistance, and rushing things will kill the joy associated with it. So comparing yourself, comparing timelines, looking at what other people have achieved versus yourself, aggressive deadlines that you're setting for yourself, and turning goals into races, or even simple tasks throughout the day. If you pause and you look at the speed in which you are doing them, are you rushing to the next thing, or are you just enjoying the moment and being in it? So shifting from urgency to just a clear, bold move of direction is such a better way to do it. Not everything needs to be in a constant state of fight or flight. Release those comparative timelines that you might have placed on yourself. If you're comparing yourself to something that you've seen online or somebody that you know in real life, and maybe comparing that they've achieved more than you have in a shorter amount of time, you don't know their reality. You don't know what their life looks like. Focus on yours. It's you versus you. Move steadily through life. You are not behind, and rushing will not make the dream arrive faster. Number 9, anchor your day. So anchor your days, not your entire life. Your stability is going to come from little daily touch points. So small rituals that can create safety and sustainability for you so that you can actually stick with this. Example, grounding morning habits, a little daily reset. I love a good bath. I feel like for me, any time of day, if I'm just in a spiral, I will pause and go have a bath. A good evening wind down, putting your phone in a completely different room, reading a good book, maybe doing some red light therapy. One thing that has completely changed the game for me is meditating and doing yoga every single day, no matter what, even if it's short. But just being present in that moment is so powerful and is changing everything for me. I do a little bit of daily planning every single day. I make sure to know my top 3 needle movers for the day so that at least I can know what I'm focused on, and it really eliminates the overwhelm. A little bath or a shower. I'm a bath girl. I don't think I've had like maybe 3 showers in our house at the maybe 1 in this house. I'm a bath girl. I love a bath. So for me, that's a non-negotiable every single day. But like I said, if I'm having a bad day, I will literally go in the tub midday. And one thing that I've implemented for myself is 1 chapter of a good book on a topic that I'm just trying to work on, whether that's relationships, communication, confidence, focus, my health, any of that. So I will always try and have 1 chapter of a good book daily. And just a reminder, Spotify is free. So if you can have those little anchors in your day, that's what's going to create stability in your life. And stable days will create stable lives, and you will be happier for it. Number 10, keep showing up. Commit to becoming someone who keeps going. So that self-trust is going to compound, and momentum is the biggest secret. Momentum is what will build your motivation. I think a lot of people think that motivation one day is just going to walk right up to them and slap them across the face and be like, I'm here. It's not. It's built through you. You will build it. And the way that that's going to happen is through a little bit of momentum. So the way that I would coin this is the next right thing. Just take 1 step forward, even if it's tiny. Keep the promises that you set to yourself small. Follow through on those promises consistently, and you will watch your confidence build over time naturally without forcing it. You're so much closer than you think, and the people that do change their lives are always the ones that didn't quit. If you can revisit the long-term process of the goals that you set for yourself on January 1st, that's how you're going to follow through and be that person that on New Year's Eve at the end of the year, you're just going to be so proud of yourself, looking back and knowing that you were one of those 9% that actually followed through on their New Year's resolution. It's so rare, but it's more than doable. If you've ever been stuck in the cycle of starting really strong and then fading out, this is your little reminder as your friend that you're not broken. You were just trying to change your life with systems that didn't support the way that you actually live. Lasting change this year is not going to come from force, pressure, or trying to reinvent yourself every single month. It's going to come from building a life that you can stay inside of, even on the hardest days, especially on the hardest days. You don't need more motivation. You don't need a fresh start every single Monday. And you don't need to become someone else. You're perfect just the way you are. What you do need to do is stop giving up on yourself the moment that anything becomes uncomfortable. Give yourself permission this year to start a little bit smaller, move a little bit slower, and adjust instead of quitting. Show up imperfectly and keep going no matter what. The people that change their lives are not the most disciplined or the most inspired. They're the ones who stop walking away from themselves. And for you, that's going to start right now. I believe in you so much. I hope that this helped you. And I cannot wait to hang out with you guys again soon. I love you. Bye, dudes.